Hello and welcome to the Matrix Fitness live workout. My name is Gleed. I'm the master trainer for Matrix Fitness, and today we're going to take you through a conditioning workout where we're going to focus on 3 rounds of exercises. In each round, we'll have a different focus. The first round is going to be doing a little bit of strength training. The second round is going to be focused on the core. And the third, we're going to focus on some conditioning work as well. So let's begin with a bit of a warm-up. Go down to do some of our floor exercises. First thing we're going to be doing is starting our warm-up. So just start by opening up through the arms, creating a bit of mobility through the shoulders and through the chest. And as you start to go through these movements, we're just working on a bit of mobility, creating that bigger range of movement, ready to start to do some of the exercises. Next, we're going to pivot. And as we move the feet and pivot around the ankles, what we're doing is creating mobility through the ankle, the hip, and also your upper back area as well. So just really try and free that movement up. Start to look behind your shoulders as you go into these movements. Let's begin with starting a little bit of exercises onto our thighs. So what we're going to do is to lower your hips down towards the floor into a squat position. And as you start to take these squats, take yourself a little bit lower each repetition, just so you can start to increase that range of movement available to you. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take you into a step back lunge. So take a large step backwards, lower the back knee down towards the floor and then step up, and then alternate to the opposite side as well. Each time you take these movements, try and keep your back as straight as possible and lower that back knee down towards the floor. So it has a big range of movement, but yet you're in control of all that range as well. And you can see you're using the arms just to help counterbalance your body weight and maintain that control as you go through the movements. Okay, let's start to get your heart rates up a little bit more. I want you to imagine you've got a skipping rope, and all I want you to begin with is just getting you to push off the floor, starting to increase your heart rates. Now, as we start to get these heart rates up, you can start to feel that you're pushing and working through your calves as well. And next up, what we're going to do is we're going to start to get you to move from side to side. So just having a little bit of a push off the floor and transfer your weight from side to side, just so we can get all the intrinsic muscles around the feet ready for doing a bit more explosive movements coming up as well. Now let's start to scissor the feet forwards and backwards. These changes of direction will not only help you prepare the muscles for some potential jumping work, where you can push yourself a little bit more, but also wakes up all of the feet, and that is the basis of where we're going to do the majority of our exercises as well. Okay, just loosen up your body. Let's take you into a fighting stance. I want to jab, cross, jab. We're going to switch the feet over, and again, a jab, cross, jab. Each time you transfer your weight from one side to the other, I want you to pivot off your feet like we did in the mobility section. And as you start to connect your feet to your fists, we're going to engage all of the muscles up from the thighs, all the way through the glutes, and then up into your core and through to your shoulders. So it's a real transition of getting the whole body to engage in doing these movements. Okay, and just loosen out. Let's take you into a little jumping jack here. So taking your arms to the outside of your body, at the same time as you jump your legs apart, we're looking just to get your heart rates up a little bit higher now, and also start to get the muscles to work a little bit quicker. Okay, next up, we've got some knee strikes coming in. So we're going to pivot the feet to one side, reach the arms high, and I want you to drive your knee up and down 3 times, and then we'll swap it over to the opposite side. Now, these big ranges of movement not only help prepare your body for big ranges, but it also continues to keep your heart rates high as we start to really work on extending and reaching through the body as well. Okay, let's have a look at our first exercise. So just loosen up the body. Now, the first exercise is a step jump as well. So we're going to lower down into a squat, take a step to the side, push off high, and then over to the opposite side. Now, as you're doing this movement, you're going to be working for 45 seconds in an explosive manner. From there, we're going to go down to the floor into a press-up position. So we'll start the first exercise in 5 seconds. So loosen up your body. 3, 2, stay low for me, and off we go. Side step, push off the floor, and then transition from one side to the other. As we're starting to do these movements, it's a big range of movement, so push off in an explosive way. This is where we did all that preparation with the skipping, so we can really make that explosive movement up and be very used to being worked as well. Keep that heart rate up. So there's several times in today's workout where the focus is not going to be the heart rate. It's going to be on more conditioning work. So in some of the exercises like this one, we want to try and get your heart rate high so we can get the calorie burn, and it's not just a focus on conditioning work. Okay, relax there. We've got 15 seconds recovery. We're going to come down to the floor. Now you can get a mat nearby you ready if you'd like one. And the movement that we're going to do here is a press-up position. So you can do your press-ups on your knees to begin with, where we lower your body down towards the floor, bring yourself up into a full plank position, and I want you to jump your legs in and jump the legs out. Then you can return the knees into that press-up position. Let's get you working here. So once you lower your body down towards the floor, jump your legs in and out. So it's a big, strong movement, and then repeat. Now, if you want to do a full press-up, then that's absolutely fine. You don't have to do the half press-ups. You can go into that big range of movement and then just thrust the hips forwards and backwards as you jump your feet in and out as well. Last 3 seconds, let's definitely get another repetition in here and relax there. Now, the next exercise we're going to have a look at is called a renegade row. This one is a back exercise that really works on stability of the shoulders. So we're going to get you set up in a position where you're on all fours and you walk the hands in towards you, working on the stability of the shoulder. So let's get going straight away into this one. Now, these are the sort of exercises where your heart rates do come down quite a bit. So take your time, work on the stability around the shoulder, so you can really focus on engaging the muscles all around the back areas. Some of my top tips would be, think about squeezing your butt cheeks tight together, and that really keeps your hips still. You don't want to be wobbling from one side to the other doing this exercise, keeping it a very quiet, smooth transition as you take one hand off, bringing the hand in towards the shoulder, and then replace it down onto the floor with as much control as possible. And relax there. Okay, let's bring you back up to a standing position, and we're going to go through those same exercises again. So the first one is that deep squat position, push off the floor, and then over to the opposite side. We start in 3, 2, 1. So down into that deep position, push off high, and then over to the opposite way. Now, as you're pushing over here, making it as an explosive movement, try and stay low, and push off high. We want it to be as athletic as possible. Good work. Be strong. Push off with as much power as you can. This is where we want the heart rates to go high, as we know that they're going to start to lower down as we start to take you down towards the floor as well. So 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds recovery, 10 seconds left of this exercise, and then we go back down to the floor into that press up and thruster position. Last one. Great job. Okay, relax there. Let's take it down to the floor into that press up and thruster position. Now, again, the knees can be on the mat to make it a little bit more comfortable for you when you're doing your press up, or you can do a full press up as well. It's your choice. Let's get ready. 2, 1. So press up all the way down towards the floor, then thrust the legs in and out. Option of doing a full press up will make the exercise a little bit more challenging as well. So once you've done that press up, you jump your knees in, you jump your legs back out into that strong press up position, and then lower to the floor and back up. I want the upper body to be doing a lot of strength work here. The last 10 seconds of work, then we go into our renegade row. And relax there. Okay, 15 seconds recovery before we go into our third exercise. So this is where the hands are going to be on the floor, and you're going to bring one hand in towards the shoulder and then back down again as well. So let's get you ready for this next exercise. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So walking the hand in towards you, keeping control as you go through that movement. It's all about squeezing your glutes together. That'll keep your hips stable, keeping them still, keeping all the muscles working in a steady way. Now, as you go through this movement, keep your eyes looking down towards your fingertips. So if you think about an imaginary line drawn from one hand to the other, Keep focusing in that same place. For some of you, it might be the top of the mat. For me, it's where the yellow and the black tape is today. This is all in preparation for getting the gyms back open again. So it's a nice, safe environment for everybody. The last 5 seconds. 3, 2, and relax there. Okay, now we finished the round of exercises, and we now go into our second round where we're going to focus on core work. Now, the first exercise we're going to do is a V-sit. So I'm going to get you to lie down on your backs. Now, from here, what's going to happen is you breathe out as you reach up towards your toes and breathe in as you lower yourself back down again. Exhale as you reach up. Inhale as you lower yourself back down. And it's all about controlled movement here. Try not to collapse your body down. Keep working strong with control as well, especially as you lower yourself back down. Making sure you breathe out, so exhale as you reach up. Now, when you're reaching up, it's about reaching your shoulder blades off the floor, not just throwing your arms forwards and dropping them back down. It's about the controlled movement if you can. And relax there. Good job. Now, the second exercise we're going to do is called a heel drop. So for this one, we're just going to position you so your back is still on the floor. And you can just see I've adjusted so that my knees are directly above my hips, hands down to the side of my body. Now, I want you to heel drop. So lower one heel towards the floor, bring it back in and alternate it to the opposite side. Now, these heel drops is a very controlled movement. You should feel all of your back pressed down against the floor. If that doesn't feel so, try to push your lower back down against the floor so it's in a very stable position. Now, for some of you, you may be looking for a slightly harder option. So what we can do to make this harder is extend your leg a little further away. So working with an extended leg is one option. The other option is you could do both legs at the same time to make that more challenging. Now, we've got 10 seconds left. If you want to make it a little bit harder, lower both heels down at the same time and then bring them back in again. Okay, relax there. Now we're going to sit you up. Now the next exercise is called a Russian twist. So for this one, sitting in a tall position with your arms out in front, I want you to lower yourself back so you feel like your core is engaged. And then from here, we're going to rotate around from one side to the other. Now, the key point on this one is just to check in whenever you're in the middle of that movement, just make sure that your spine is straight. So we're not starting to round through the back. Keep your body as straight as possible as you rotate around from one side to the other. Good. Keep control. Keep that steady movement. Good. So you've got a big range of movement here, keeping the back straight. Just do a little self-check. Have you got your back straight, especially as you pass into that middle? And then rotate round to the opposite side. Good work. Okay, let's repeat those exercises. So lying down, ready for the V-sits to begin with. So remember, the arms are extended on this one. The legs are extended. As you exhale, so breathing out, you reach up, and your hands and feet both reach up towards the ceiling. Let's go. Reaching up, tall, lower yourself back down with control. Exhale. Inhale as you lower yourself back down. Keep that big range of movement. Keep it controlled. Breathe in as you lower yourself back down. Exhale as you reach up. Inhale as you lower yourself back down. The focus is trying to get the shoulder blades off the floor, reaching up high towards the ceiling. It's not just the arms and feet coming together. It is about the height of the movement of the body and then the control on the lowering phase. Okay, relax there. Now, the next exercise is going to be your heel drops. So I'm just going to move a little lower on my mat. So hands down by the side of your body, feet up at 90 degrees. And remember, the option on this one is one leg at a time, or you could go with an extended leg or 2 feet at the time as well. So I'm just going to show you the easier option, just one heel lowering down at a time. So take your time. You're going to get a lot of work around the hip area. So at the end of these exercises, we really will get a good stretch, especially in and around the hip area as well, because they can get a little bit tight doing these exercises. Whenever you start working through the core and you go into a lot of movement of the hip flexors take a lot of work So we'll give them a really good stretch at the end. Take your time for this movement though. If you've been doing the 2-leg option, then you can always reduce to a single leg if you need to. You've got just over 5 seconds to go now. Take your time, keep the control, and relax there. Okay, last core exercise, or at least the focus core exercise, is going to be that Russian twist. So sitting up tall, set yourself up, arms are extended, lower yourself back into a position where you feel is strong, steady position, shoulder blades back and down, and then let's rotate around from side to side together. Now, as you go through these rotations, remember that little check-in. Every time you come back to the center, just realign the spine, making sure your posture is really strong. Now, the secret to make this a little bit harder is to lower yourself back a little bit further. It does make the hips work a little bit harder. So if you start to find that your hips are starting to fatigue, that is quite common, and it's completely expected as well. There is going to definitely be a lot of hip work here. So just keep that control, steady movement. Last 5 seconds of work to go. And relax there. Okay, let's bring you back up to a standing position. Now, the next movement we're going to be doing is a jumping jack and a squat pulse. So this is where we're going to start to push your heart rates up a little bit higher. You've got 2 jumping jacks. Then we're going to squat, pulse, and then explode back into those jumping jacks. So let's get you working. So 2 big movements out wide, and then 2 small movements down deep. That's the movement that we're looking for. Time to get those heart rates back up, especially after we've been sat down on the floor. Use this exercise to really try and push your fitness again. Keeping those big range of movements down into those deep positions as well. Now you're well over halfway. We're coming down to 15 seconds to go. Try and push that fitness, make them big explosive movements. Maybe on those jumping jacks, take the arms above the head just to push your heart rates a little bit more. Okay, and rest there. Now, the next exercise is very much a controlled, focused exercise. We're going to do a single leg squat. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to have one leg, which is my working foot. I'm going to put a stabilizing foot just in front, and I'm going to focus on lowering my weight into that leg that is underneath my body. So the straight leg that's out in front is purely there just for a little bit of stability. Now take your time on the repetitions on this one. Lower yourself back down as low as you feel comfortable to go. Some of you may even be taking the foot completely off the floor. So you're really challenging complete stability on here. But make sure that you've got good alignment of your knee, hip, and ankle all straight down. And just work on that tempo of slowly down, pause, and then be strong on the way back up. So almost a 3-to-1 ratio. So down for 3 seconds and then be strong on the way back up again. Now we've got 3 seconds to go, so we'll get that last repetition in. Good. Okay, now shake the legs out. We will come back and do the opposite leg as we come round and do these exercises a second time. In between this one, though, we've got a T press up. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to do a press up, then come into a side plank, and then over to the opposite side. Again, press up in the middle. Now you're going to be pivoting off the feet, and you might find that your feet start to move a little bit, which is completely normal. So you might just need to readjust your position of your feet in between each repetition. Now your goal is to get that deep range of movement, so lower the chin, chest, and hips all the way down towards the floor. So you get a big range of movement, and then be strong as you push yourself off. Now, if you start to struggle, you can always come down to your knees to do the press up if you'd like to. You've got 4 seconds to go, so time for one more. And rest there. Great job. So let's put those 3 exercises together. You've got the jumping jacks and the squat pulse to begin with, so we can push the heart rate up. Then we'll go into the single leg squat on the opposite leg. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. So jumping jack. So we do 2 of those, then the squat, a little pulse, and then explosive movement back into that jumping jack again. Keep that big range of movement. Let's get those hands up as high as they can so we can get your heart rates up tall. Deep range every single time we lower your body down towards the floor. Keep that deep range of movement, and then a big explosive movement up high. And then you're going to start to see those calories get burnt as we try and push your heart rates high. Got 5 seconds to go. A couple more cycles here. And relax there. Great job. Let's get ready for those single leg squats. So what we've got is one foot doing the work. The opposite leg is going to be there for stability. Down in 3, up in 1 would be a bit of a goal to work towards as well. Let's get going on this one. So lower your hips down towards your heels, and then be strong as you come back up. Good. Deep range of movement. Push strong. Try and get the hip to go down as low as you can, keeping your back straight. It will lean forwards, but keep it as straight as you can, rather than just collapsing your whole body forwards. Good. Be strong as you come back up out of that position. Got just over 10 seconds, so about another 3 repetitions. Okay, last one coming up. Down strong and up quick. Good work. Okay, shake those legs out. Next up, we've got the T press up to finish with. So full press ups or press ups on the knees. It's up to you. Let's get you ready for this last exercise before we take you through some stretches as well. 3, 2, let's go. Chin, chest towards the floor, up into that side plank position, and then alternate to the opposite side. Just readjust your feet each time you go into that movement because they will pivot. Remember the option of doing the press-ups on the knees if you need to. But if you can, a full press-up is great. Really working on the upper body strength today. Really important part to work on that depth of range of movement, then getting strong into those plank positions. This will improve your press-up ability. Good work. Okay, and relax there. Great job, everybody. Let's take you through a few stretches, especially around the hip area to begin with. So to begin with, we're going to do a couple of yoga poses called up dog and down dog. First one we're going to do is place your hands underneath your shoulders, rest your knees onto the floor, and lower your hips. I want you to roll your shoulder blades back and down. So you start to feel a stretch through the front of your hip, and you feel a stretch for the arch of your lower back. Now with the feet tucked in, you're going to push through your hands, lifting your hips up high, look towards your toes. Now just walk those heels, just so you feel a stretch through the back of the legs into the calves as well. Okay, now transfer your weight forwards again into that up dog position, but this time we're not going to rest your knees onto the floor. We're going to keep them suspended up, so you feel a little bit more of a stretch through the hips. Shoulder blades are rolled backwards still. And again, push into that downward facing dog. And again, keeping the feet still this time. Just pause in this position. Think about lifting your tailbone up. Try and shift it backwards a little bit more. Be very active through the shoulders as you push into the floor to find yourself in that best active position where you're stretching. Now, taking one foot off the floor, and I want you to swing the foot as close to your hand as possible. Once you've got it there, reach your hand up high, push the back heel away. So you really feel a big stretch through the side of the body. Okay, let's bring the hand down. Step back to downward facing dog. Lift up the opposite leg. And again, same thing on the opposite side. Reach the arm up high. Hold that long, tall position. Great work. Okay, bring the hand back down. Let's step back to downward facing dog one last time. Good. Now, resting your knees onto the floor, lower your hips towards your heels, and just think about walking your fingertips forward so you get a stretch down the sides of your back. Okay, now we're going to transfer your weight onto your feet and bring you up to a standing position. So walk your hands back, transfer the weight onto the feet, roll up through the spine, and shake your body out. Now, first exercise we're going to do here is a standing quadricep stretch. So take hold of something if you need to help you with your balance. You're going to bring one foot into the palm of your hand, have a slight bend in the standing foot, and straighten through the body. I want you to think about pushing your hips forwards so you feel a stretch through the front of the hip flexor, but also through your thigh as well. And then slowly release that when you feel comfortable, and we'll swap it over to the opposite side. Again, a slight bend in the standing foot. Push the hip forward slightly. Hold that deep stretch. Good. And then slowly release it. Just loosen up the body a little bit. Think about wrapping your arms around a giant inflatable ball. And if you were to blow into that ball, it would push your elbows wider and your hands further away. So you get a really good stretch through the upper back. From here, the hands come behind you. Lift your chin and chest tall. Create a long stretch through the chest and through the shoulder areas. Excellent. And just loosen yourself up there. Thank you very much for joining me as part of this Matrix Fitness workout. We'll be back at 5 o'clock this evening, so please join in with our workout then if you've just been checking out the exercises. If not, we will see you on Thursday, 7:45 in the morning, 12 o'clock lunchtime, and also 5 o'clock in the evening as well. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.